Yeah,
spots and they come back.
Yeah, this one, she's gonna start.
you ready? Everyone ready?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Good evening. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Would you please lead Selectman Chicalini?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First, I'd like to welcome my fellow board members. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam
Good
Chair.
evening, Madam Chair.
And good evening to our town manager, Mr. Scott Crabtree, and
Mr.
our
Manager.
clerk, Meredith.
Meredith.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, and ladies and gentlemen watching at home. Please note that this meeting and all of our selectmen meetings are being recorded. The first item on the agenda, under correspondence, is it was a birthday citation. It was given to Michael Spallone on his 104th birthday, and he was born July 27th. And the board gave him a citation. He was very excited to receive it, and he's incredibly knowledgeable about all things Saugus, so happy birthday to Michael. The second item on the agenda is we have the 2024 state primary warrant to be signed by the Board of Selectmen. So our clerk, Ellen Schenner, was unable to make it tonight, but the vote needs to be a motion to call the election on Tuesday, September 3rd for the state primary. Do I hear a motion?
Madam Chair, so moved.
Thank you, Selectman Chicalini, and that's seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor of Selectman Chicalini's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the Board of Selectmen to approve the appointment of election workers and police officers for the upcoming elections. And the motion, this again is from Ellen Shanna. She gave us a list of all the election workers and police officers that will be working. We just have to make a motion just with that approval.
Madam Chairman,
Selectman Serino.
I'll make a motion that we approve the appointment in the list of the police officers and the election workers for the upcoming September primary.
Thank you, Selectman Serino, and that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Serino's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Selectman Serino. The next item on the agenda is the Police Department recommends posting a no parking here to corner sign 20 feet from the intersection on Essex Street and Mount Vernon, with the curb painted yellow between the signs and the intersection. The board remembers at the last meeting, we had a town meeting member who's in the audience tonight come before the board, and although this is a law, there are certain people that are not complying with this, and that was the reason for the recommendation from the police department. Do I hear any motions?
Madam Chair.
Selectman Cogliano?
I'll offer that motion, Madam Chair.
And that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion?
Madam Chairman, just speaking on the motion, I did take a ride by and observe the area, and it is a pretty, dangerous area to try to come out of and to get onto Essex Street. So it's a common sense solution to this problem.
Thank you, Selectman Serino. So we have a motion. It was seconded by the chair. We had discussion. All those in favor of Selectman Cogliano's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have an approval of the conservation restriction from Saugus Residential LLC to the town of Saugus. And this has to do with beetles. Is this correct, Mr. Town Manager? An endangered species?
It is, so that you guys, the board has done this in the past, over the years. This is a development, if you remember, up at the Toll Brothers, where they discovered that there's an endangered species. I think it's beetles. So they had to move that project a little bit way back when they started it a few years back. And the land that sort of is restricted from doing any kind of development there, turning that over to the conservation for Saugus. So conservation, I think, have already voted this or will be voting it, the same thing, to accept it. And because there's technically an interest in the land for the town, the Board of Selectmen are required to vote to accept it.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. Are there any questions from board members?
Madam Chairman,
Selectman Serino?
I did take a ride up to the area up there and to the 40B project over there, and they have conservation signs set up all the way. If you drive up that road to the apartment building, everything on the right is conservation, and it seems to be quite a few acres of land up there. It's going to be under conservation, so that'll help. The sad part about it is, like we say, I know a lot of people said the development's too close to Pranker's Pond, which is correct, but they had to move that development because of the beetles. But like I said, there looks like to be about, I don't know, 10 acres of land up there that's going to be in conservation. So that's good for the town. That's all.
Thank you, Selectman Serino. Is there further discussion? Would somebody please make a motion?
I'll make the motion to accept the conservation restriction and to sign the paperwork.
And that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor of Selectman Serino's motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is Founder's Day invitation. The Board of Selectmen received an invitation regarding the presentations of Persons of the Year for 2024. I do have the secret names that I gave to our clerk, who is going to be creating the citations for the board to sign at our next meeting. So Founder's Day, if you haven't been, it's a wonderful time where the whole community gets together. There's crafts and food and nonprofits and all sorts of different things. Fun, lots of fun. It's a big fundraiser for like Boy Scouts in the schools, and it is going to be held on Saturday, September 14th, right in front of Town Hall. So the whole place is all blocked off, and I really encourage everybody to come. The next item on the agenda is Jesse Shomar, Special Municipal Employee Status. We all received a letter from Attorney Jesse Shomar. Would you like to talk a little bit about this?
Yeah,
Mr.
so
Town Manager?
this is similar to what I think you guys did this a while back with Richard Magnan. We've done it for attorneys over the years. Under the ethics rules, I think it's 268. It requires, he's changed firms. Jesse's our special counsel for land use, and he's changed firms, and so he's looking to have that updated for the special status, because if his firm or somebody in his firm has represented somebody in the past, or for an application or whatnot, they, for purposes of the ethics, they have to file this and have it voted by the Board of Selectmen. If you remember, I think Rich Magnan represented the town in Wakefield, I think in front of their Conservation Commission, so we had to give a special employee status, so it's similar to that.
Thank you. I thought his letter, too, was very self-explanatory. I appreciate that information. Do board members have any questions? Do I hear any motions?
Madam Chair,
Selectman Ciccolini.
I will make a motion that we designate the position of outside special counsel to the town of Saugus, including its various departments and permitting boards, authorities, etc., for land use, development, permitting, and zoning matters currently held by Jesse Schomer, Esquire of Dane, Torfey, Luray, Weast, and Garner, as that is a special employee for the purpose of the Massachusetts Conflict of Interest Law.
Thank you, and that's seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Ciccolini's motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you all. It is now time for our first public hearing of the night. Notice is hereby given that the Saugus Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing for a special permit on the request of owner-manager Cheval Lagoon Damer, 81 School Street, Saugus, Massachusetts. Name a proposed business, KPS Aesthetics and Threading, LLC, for eyebrow threading, face and body waxing, facials, eyelash extensions, and massage. Business location is 27 Essex Street, Saugus, Mass. This public hearing will be held at the Saugus Town Hall, second floor Auditorium, Saugus, Mass. on August 20, 2024 at 7:05 p.m. Is the applicant in the audience? Could you please come to our podium? Good evening. Can we please have your name and address for our records, please?
My name is Shova Gazmer.
And can you tell us a little bit about your business?
So it is the aesthetics business. So I'm including the eyebrow threading. So which is pretty much beauty salon. So working as aesthetics and work with the thread and the body massage.
And it says only one employee is going to be working with you with all these different things that you offer. Is that one employee you, or is it you and somebody else?
It's only me for now.
It's only you.
Yes.
And do you need special licenses for some of these services that you'll be providing?
Yes, we have to go to the aesthetics board of cosmetology and the barber to get the license from there.
So you have all the licenses
Yes,
needed to
I do.
provide all these services?
I do.
Okay. Do board members have any questions?
Madam Chairman,
Selectman Sereno?
I noticed you have your license from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. How many years' experience have you had in this field?
I have 11 years of
11
experience working.
Oh, great.
Excellent.
And hours of operation will be 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday?
Correct.
Okay. And that's about all. I know you're offering a lot of things here. Tinting and henna service, body wax, eyebrow, threading. So I guess it's a good addition to Cliftondale. And that's all I have, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Selectman Sereno. Is there further discussion? Further discussion?
And just one other thing, I know the police recommendations came back. They approved they didn't have any problems with your business being in that location. Other
What?
than that, I think that's all we have. Thank you.
And I also asked our clerk about the Board of Health, and she spoke to their clerk, who said that we didn't need to necessarily have a recommendation from them. Did you want to add anything to that, Meredith?
You can just put in the conditions that we need Board of Health approval.
Yeah.
So they said, because there's nothing like the eyebrow tattooing or anything like that, where you're breaking skin or doing anything, that the Board of Health is not involved with having to give a recommendation.
Thank you, Meredith. Seeing no more discussion from the board members, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak either in favor or opposed to this application? Seeing none, what are the wishes of the board?
Madam Chair,
Selectman Chicalini?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
And that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Chicalini's motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Good luck.
Selectman Chicalini.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we grant the request of Shova Lagoon Gamar, DBA KPS Aesthetic and Threading LLC, 81 School Street, Saugus, for their special permit to operate a spa and esthetician business at 27 Essex Street in Saugus. Hours of operation will be 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That'll be Tuesday through Saturday. They're closed on Sunday and Monday. They specify one employee, but that's not really relevant for us based on their floor plan. They obviously have capacity for more if they need to. There were no other specifics put through, and based on Meredith's comments, I don't think we need to make it subject to Board of Health walkthrough. I do think it's just a final walkthrough on the fire department, on a safety walkthrough.
Thank you. And that's seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none. This is a special permit, so we do need to have a roll call vote. So Meredith, could you read out each selectman's name for the vote, please?
Okay. Corinne Riley,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Deborah,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Anthony.
Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations and good
Congratulations.
luck to you.
Good
Thank
luck.
you so much.
Good
You're
luck.
welcome.
Thank you.
The second public hearing for tonight. The Selectmen will conduct a public hearing to amend the town's traffic rules and regulations, Article 9, Section 8, obedience to isolated stop signs by posting a stop sign to be placed on the right side of Mount Vernon Street at the intersection with Laurel Street. The sign should be the standard stop sign designated R-1-1 by the MUTCD and the standard white stop sign to be painted on the ground. This public hearing will be held on August 20th, 2024 at 710 Saugus Town Hall, second floor, Auditorium, 298 Central Street. So again, we had a town meeting member from Precinct 2 bring this to our attention. We received information from our police department, Art Connors, and he writes, given the limited sight lines when turning left from Mount Vernon Street onto Laurel Street, we agree that a stop sign would meet one of the criteria in the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices and enhance the safety of pedestrians and bicyclists entering and exiting the rail trail at the end of Laurel Street. The stop sign should be placed on the right side of Mount Vernon Street at the intersection with Laurel Street. The sign should be the standard stop sign designated R-1-1 by the MUTCD, and the standard white stop line should be painted on the ground. So that is the recommendation from the police department. Do board members have any questions regarding this?
Madam Chairman,
Selectman Sereno.
I did visit that area, and that is a blind corner. You have the entrance and exit to the rail trail here for pedestrians, and it's only probably about 20 feet away from that intersection, so I think this is a great idea.
Thank you, Selectman Sereno. Is there further discussions before I open it up to the public? Seeing none, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak either in favor or opposed to this application? Seeing none, what are the wishes of the board?
Madam Chairman,
Selectman
I'll
Sereno.
make a motion that we approve the stop sign to be placed.
We have to close the public hearing.
Oh, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
And that is seconded by the
It's
chair.
been a while.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Sereno's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Selectman Sereno.
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion to grant the request to put a stop sign placed on the right side of Mount Vernon Street at the intersection with Laurel Street, and a stop sign to be painted on the ground.
And that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Sereno's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you all very much. The next item on the agenda is our 7:15 public hearing. On request of Athedy Food LLC, doing business as Athedy Indian Restaurant for common victualers and entertainment license to be located at 1268 Broadway, Saugus, manager Jaja Krishna Vasadreddy. Very good. Would you please come up to the podium? And if you could all give your names and addresses for the record, that would be great.
Hi, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. So if we could have the three of your names and addresses, please?
It's J. Krishna Vasireddy, 1268 Broadway, Saugus.
Thank you.
It's a restaurant.
It's Soumya Jakireddy, same address.
Okay.
I'm Rafael Fraga, 20 Walnut Ave, Andover.
Thank you all very much. So could you tell us a little bit about your restaurant?
Yeah. It's an South Indian restaurant, but we do serve all the Indian food. We have different states from India, so we do have different flavored Indian food served in the restaurant. And yeah, This is the first Indian restaurant in Saugus after a long time. We were here before in Saugus for more than 2-3 years. At the time, we used to go far for the Indian restaurant. We used to have a plan that we need to open a restaurant in Saugus. Finally, our dreams come true. We just hired a place in Saugus, and we're going to start the Indian restaurant here, with your permission.
Do board members have questions?
Madam Chair,
Selectman Chicalini?
how you doing?
Yes.
So are you already open?
No.
You're not open. Have you done renovations inside? Have you, this is the old Out of Asia location.
Yes,
I know that restaurant was very dated and needed some updates and
Yes.
a
We
good
did.
cleaning.
We did all that. We did renovations. We made so much cleaning, of course.
Yeah.
And
So
we didn't
much money
start.
too.
But yeah, we didn't start it yet because we wanted this, all permissions and everything.
Okay.
And start it legally and properly. So
Okay,
we
so
didn't start.
what would you estimate if it's approved tonight? What are you looking for for an opening date?
ASAP,
ASAP?
yeah.
So you're just gonna, are you doing any construction, or is it
No.
just cleaning?
No, everything done.
So, sorry, I'm the consulting company assisting them. The construction work that was done has been, permits have been pulled, inspections have been passed, the firefighters approved them. We're just waiting for your approval so we can get the Board of Health in there inspecting them and then issuing their license.
Okay, so the construction has been completed?
Completed, yes.
Okay, so now it's just the cleaning and getting it ready?
We're ready to go, yeah.
It's
We're
ready.
just waiting to get
For the
approved.
approvals?
Yes.
Okay,
So just to kind of with my knowledge of it is there was an active restaurant that was there. They went through some issues, and I think that transferred ownership. But there were stuff with inspectional services with the establishment, and I think they went ahead and did the things that were required from the different inspectional service departments. And now they're looking to get everything transferred so they can reopen the restaurant, the Indian restaurant that.
but they're not transferring, they're only coming here for convict and
Correct.
entertainment. It's not gonna have a liquor license.
Right, they'll have to do that after.
Okay.
I think they were just trying to go through some issues of ownership.
Okay.
So that just, Madam Chairman, to you.
Selectman
that-
Cogdiano.
That place had a beer and wine license, correct? Not a full liquor.
Correct.
Right, they had a
They-
full
out
liquor,
of
they sold it
Asia-
and got a
Yeah.
beer, wine, and cordials.
So that's what they had left, but we're in the process of trying to get back. We can't just take it back because they didn't pay. We're in the process of sending out letters to get that license back.
Okay.
And I don't know, Madam Chair, if it's in the packet, but we should, the board should have on file some sort of a layout of the floor plan. I don't know if it's in there, but, okay.
I saw a menu and a floor plan,
it's here, yeah.
I have a full plan
and the
and the
menu.
menu. And thank you for that.
Thank you.
I did see a sign up today on my way here. Your sign's on the building, Athede, is that what it's called?
Yes.
So for entertainment, what exactly are you looking for? Is it 4 TVs?
It's 3 TVs.
3 TVs
3.
you're looking for? Yeah, because the numbers kept changing when we were talking, so it's 3 TVs you're looking for.
3 and a projector, right?
And that's it, just,
Three,
One projector.
okay, 3 TVs and a projector.
Projector,
Yes.
like a projection TV?
Like a TV, it's the same thing.
It's like a
It's a screen.
120 inches screen.
It's a big
going on
screen
the wall.
TV.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
okay,
right,
three
so it's
projectors and a screen.
four TVs,
Okay,
that's fine.
okay.
sorry.
4 TVs is good.
The one thing I'm going to mention is the street that abuts where your restaurant is going to be. There's a lot of, unfortunately, people that used to cut through. And I know that's not your problem, but I'm just bringing this up because there are people that are sitting in the audience, and if I don't bring it up, they're going to. And their concern is that there's going to be a lot of, no one's supposed to be parking up on that side, and that's why there's Jersey barriers and firewalls and different things that are there. And I'm not sure how you're going to be, and how we're going to be able to try to police that, because we don't want cars up and down their street, which is a dead end, kind of cutting over. So I'm not, It's just a concern that they have. So again, I'm not sure how you would be able to, would have to probably do something with our police department, but that is a concern that the neighbors have.
Madam Chairman?
Yes,
I could
Tom.
speak a little bit on it. You know, this has been an ongoing issue there that the departments have been trying to work on. I do know that there was a couple companies that were there that were leasing that haven't been renewed. So I think that'll alleviate at least some of the issues that they were talking about. I'm not sure how much, you know, obviously they're leasing a property, they're gonna use whatever thing, but I think the issue had to do with, there was a couple of companies that were leasing the land back there that has now, my understanding, I've been told, hasn't been renewed, so that would alleviate some of that construction vehicles that were in the back.
I hope so. I just know the neighbors have gone through a lot of grief as of late, and it's not necessarily your issue, but I thought it was just important to bring up because of what has happened, a little bit of history there.
We did talk to the owner, ma'am. So what he has done is, no vehicle can trespass from that area. The second thing is, the owner has laid out nice, or what you call, the road pavement. And there is a lot of parking now, and no one can trespass it because we did request, and we are also like blocking that area, trespassing area, so that no one can come from the side. So if they want to come, they just need to enter from the main entry, and they need to park the cars. And we also requested the owner to remove 2 or 3 spaces in front of the building so that people can go and park the cars in the right place. So nothing is being blocked, or I know that there is a lot of traffic coming directly into the, and when intersection is also not planned, it's little differ. So we want to attract the people, and we want to do it in a proper way. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad I asked the question. Thank you
yes.
very much.
Yeah, he's wiring that. He wired it already. I'm not sure get
Okay.
a chance to look, but no one can come through that area.
Thank you.
Fenced it. He fenced it. I'm sorry.
Do board members have any additional questions? Any additional questions? Seeing none, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak either in favor or opposed to this application? I'm seeing all noes. With that said, what are the wishes of the board?
Madam Chair,
Selectman Chicalini,
I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing.
and that is second by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Chicalini's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Selectman Chicalini.
Madam Chair, I will make a motion that we grant the request of Athiti Food LLC, doing business as Athiti Indian Restaurant, for their common victulars and entertainment license for 1268 Broadway, Saugus. As listed, it will be no more than 70 seats, 4 TVs on the entertainment license, 7 days a week, 11:30 a.m. to 10 p.m., and final sign-off and walkthroughs by the Board of Health, and final approvals as documented.
And that's seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Chicalini's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I can't wait to
Congrats.
too try your
Good
restaurant.
luck.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you. Have a great night. It's now time for the first citizen's comment of the evening. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Could we please have your name? We know who you are, but we need your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Marie Floramo at 12 Stalker Street. I am here speaking for the children and future generations surrounding Stalker Playground. Deserve better. I would like to direct this question to Chair Panetta. You are the standing president of the Saugus River Watershed Council. Mrs. Panetta, are you for the environment or not? Dog parks are not conducive to riverine ecological health. So, did you want to comment now or maybe get back to us?
I'm listening to your statement. Go ahead.
You didn't hear the statement?
I assume
You want me to-
you have more to read?
Yeah. That's, well, that's it for
The
this.
question is,
yeah.
am I for the, yes, I am for the environment.
Okay, so have
If
you...
that's your
Have
question.
you checked out that area of
I am
Stocker
very,
Playground for-
this is, public comment is not a back and forth. If you'd like to talk to me privately, but it's not a back and forth.
Okay, sure.
But yes, I am for the environment.
That's right, yeah, okay, you are. All right, thank you. And I have something else to read. Okay, recently, several residents and I had the opportunity to meet with the town manager, where we learned that a grant application for a proposed dog park at Stocker Playground has already been submitted. This information raises some important concerns that I believe deserve public discussion. Number one, grant submission timing. If the grant was submitted before the public forum held in April, it raises questions about whether the forum was truly intended for community input or if it was more of a procedural formality. If the grant was submitted afterward, it's unclear why alternative locations, such as the Oakland Vale School site, were not given more thorough consideration. These alternatives could preserve the integrity of Stocker Playground while addressing the needs of all residents. Number two, public input and process. The feedback provided by residents during the forum seems to have been overlooked. I believe it is crucial that all community voices are heard and respected, and that decisions are made with the best interest of the town as a whole, rather than being based on a predetermined plan. Number three, exploring alternative locations. Despite the considerable community opposition, we are told there is no option to amend the application for an alternative location. Despite ground not have been broken yet, I strongly urge that alternate locations are fully explored and considered. As many of you know, Stocker Playground has long been a beloved space for our children, with the original deed intended to protect its use for this purpose. Repurposing it into a dog park would not only conflict with this intention, but also reduce recreational opportunities for the younger members of our community. I respectfully ask the board to consider these concerns, evaluate alternative locations for the dog park, and ensure that the voices of the Precinct 3 community are genuinely taken into account. I also encourage everyone involved with maintains a transparent, impartial, and community-focused decision-making process. And I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like to get up and speak as well? Is there anyone else who'd like to speak in the audience? Seeing none, we're going to move on with the town manager's report. Mr. Town Manager.
Good evening. I don't have a lot tonight, but I did want to let the board know and the public that we're going to be doing some work. And here we actually are supposed to start today. As you can see, we have some paint and chipping and whatnot, but we have a contractor that's, we put out the bid, and they're going to be coming in and helping to paint and spruce up the inside here, so that at our next meeting, we may have some stuff that's in here that we'll just have to work around. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a warning.
That's okay.
So that, but it's, the good news is that obviously this is a beautiful building, and we're, as you know, the board has supported us renovating the outside and trying to bring some of the preserve the building that we did back in the 90s, and I think it'll be great. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I think the other things are we're obviously trying to clean up as much as we can with the schools opening and making sure that they're ready for the kids and the students and as well as the teachers. So we'll be doing that. If you guys have anything regarding that stuff, let me know. But we've been trying to get DPW, building maintenance, and the schools all to work together on different issues within the opening of the school. So that's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Mr.
Madam
Town Manager.
Chairman, just to follow up on that,
Sure.
Mr. Manager, so we have a couple meetings in September, but we'll be able to meet on them particular dates. And how long do you anticipate this project to last?
I think it'd probably take probably a few weeks. I would say that it could take longer, but I think a few weeks. But I would say that I'm hopeful that you'll be able to meet here. If worst case scenario, maybe we could do a change of venue, maybe at the school committee room. But I don't. That's just a backup plan in case. Because I know that they have to, obviously, these got high ceilings, so there's going to be different things, but I think we're trying to figure out, I think that we'll be okay to continue to meet in here, but it'll be a few weeks. We were trying to get it done over the summer when we had less meetings like now, but when you go out to bid and you award the contract, sometimes it takes time for them to mobilize. So I would say plan on the meetings here, but if there's one meeting that we may have to relocate, we can try to figure that out, but I'm hopeful that we'll be able to have it. And I'm always a fan of people seeing what we're doing with the taxpayers' money, of things they'll be able to see it on possibly TV, so. And the selectmen can see it.
Do board members have
Thank
any
you.
questions for our town manager?
Madam Chairman,
Selectman Riley?
through you to the town manager on that, I'd like to thank you and the DPW for doing that intervale in Stone Street with that
Sure.
sidewalk going
Okay,
the
yeah, I
back
did
of
go,
the,
yeah.
veteran schools, so
I
it's
did go and look
great.
at that, and it was done. It was a lot of growth there.
Overgrowth,
It's
yeah.
coming, I think, out from the yards, and it's just sort of taken over. So they did trim that back, and there was, I think, a few other locations. I don't know if you gave them to me or someone else, but we've been trying to deal with some of the sidewalk areas and cleaning things up for kids that are walking to school and getting ready for that. And I know that they're working on the bus routes and all that now. So hopefully, we'll have a good school opening. It starts, I think, next Tuesday, believe it or not. So things are moving pretty quickly for the kids, so and for the parents. So the kids will be back in school now.
Well,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you, Selectman Riley. I just want to quickly thank our police department and the town manager's office. We've had a lot of complaints, traffic complaints, and I've seen a lot more police presence and driving around town. They've put up the speed signs in different places, like on Adams Ave, for example, because we had some residents and they had some concerns, and they were able to capture that data to actually say that there is an issue there, so you're seeing more police presence there. That's just one example, so I want to thank you and the police force for,
You're welcome.
really helping out.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I think the boards, we're doing quite a bit of work around town, and we're continuing to try to do that with different buildings and different properties as far as building, improving some of those things in the infrastructure as well as, upgrading. I know, we got stuff going on down at the Vitale and stuff like that, so we'll have more information out on different, on different projects that we're doing. But the auditorium, I think, will be great, and we're still, we're going to look in, once we get that done, look into the sound system to try to improve that, so that's still on the list for the
Because
acoustics.
I have a hard time even hearing you, so
Yes,
we
I
really do
agree.
need to
It's
improve the
tough, yeah.
sound system.
Yep.
Thank you very
You're welcome.
much. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, very good, thank you. Next, we have approval of minutes. First, we have the April 16, 2024 minutes, the 5:30 meeting minutes. Would somebody please make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Selectman Cogliano, and that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Cogliano's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have the July 16, 2024 minutes, the 7 p.m. minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Selectman Riley, and that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Riley's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Motion carries 4 approval, 1 abstention. Thank you. Next, we have appointments. Our first appointment is for Mr. Stephen Sweezy. His request for reappointment as a parking officer. So his term would go from August 2024 to July 2025.
I'll make that in the form of a motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Selectman Ciccolini, and that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion?
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
just a question to the manager. Are those hearings done live now, or are they still done virtually?
I can look into that. I think they were doing stuff online, and I think some people do like that. I'm not sure. I think they can request it in person, but I can find out.
Okay.
I think they, like a lot of people, just send an email, and they do a lot of that. I guess the remote stuff is sort of stuck. But I think there are people that sometimes request a in-person hearing, and I think they do that. But I think you have to like request that. I think it's made it more efficient for some people, and I think it's probably frustrating for other people. But I'll find out. I haven't really looked into it in a while, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Madam Chairman.
Thank
I
you.
know he does come in and
Okay.
goes through all the paperwork. I just don't, I think a lot of the stuff is sort of an appeal. People are sending emails, and then he reviews them, and that's more convenient for people sometimes. But I think there are people that say, oh, geez, can I get a thing? And I think they request like an in-person thing, but maybe there's a way to make it clearer for people that want one or the other.
Thank you.
A process.
Okay, so we have a motion. It was seconded. Is there any additional discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Ciccolini's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Next, we have an appointment of Mark Iannuzzi, 29 Granite Street, Peabody, regarding his request for reappointment of constable. Is Mr. Iannuzzi here? I do not see him here. This would be a 3-year appointment, and the term would be ending July 31st, 2027.
Madam Chairman, should we request that he come attend our next meeting?
It's up to the board. If the board wants him to attend, we can ask him to come to the next meeting. If the board feels comfortable with the reappointment, we can do that.
Madam Chair,
Selectman Ciccolini.
usually for a reappointment, someone that's been with us for some time, I'm okay with moving forward tonight, especially where his renewal was up August 1st. On a new appointment, I definitely would like them to be here, but for a reappointment, in the past, we have done it, so I would be fine with it.
Selectman Sereni, are you okay with that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, very good. So would somebody like to make that in the form of a motion then?
I'll offer that, Madam Chairman.
All right, and that's seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Cogliano's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next, we have an appointment of, actually, it's a reappointment for Dana Prestone, 292 Salem Street, Revere, and has requested for reappointment on constable. Good evening.
Good evening.
We know who you are, but your
Okay.
name and address just for the record.
Dana Prestone, 292 Salem Street, Revere.
And how long have you been a constable in Saugus?
I think since the early 2000s, I believe.
Do board members have any questions? Any questions? Is there anything that you'd like to say to the board?
No, thank you.
Seeing none.
I've been here for a long time.
And this is also one that expired August 1?
Yes, so this would go to July 31st, 2027. Would somebody like to make a
I would
motion?
offer that in the form of a motion.
And that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Ciccolini's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
for coming
carries
in.
5-0.
Thank you. and
Thank you
for
very
coming in.
much.
We
Thank you for your
appreciate it.
service.
Thank you.
It is now time for our second members' comments of the evening. Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to come up and speak?
Oh, this is members.
Oh, well, that's okay. We could do citizens and then do members.
All right.
You could, that's all right. We'll just flip it around. And if we could please have your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Carlos Oliver. I live on Dudley Street.
Could you do me a favor?
And-
I'm having a real hard time hearing you. Could you just move the mic up a little bit? Yeah, thank you.
I live on Dudley Street.
Much
and
better.
I want to share my deep concern with all of you, and this is in regards of the heavy traffic that is going by Dudley Street being used as a shortcut. Usually early in the morning and late in the afternoon, heavy trucks going by our street, very heavy. And the reason they use that, I believe, this shortcut is to avoid the traffic that bring them down to Winter Street or Lincoln Avenue. And my concern also goes through that I do have a little child, and these trucks are very noisy. They use a what they call J brake or compression brake that makes a lot of noise when they going gradually stopping. And I want to bring this concern to all of you because it's I have shared this concern with a few of our neighbors, and we got Lisa with me today that shared the same concern as I do. And I would like to know if you can at least give us some ideas, like initially bring a cab to watch this traffic, how fast are they going, or how they behave usually going by this street.
Well, we appreciate your comments. The town manager heard your comments, and we'll ask him to talk with the police department to get some recommendations, okay?
Yes.
And perhaps Lisa can reach out to us at some point, okay? Thank you very much for coming tonight.
Thank you.
We appreciate your concern.
Carlos, could you sign in on the sign-in sheet on there so I have your name and address for the record?
Sign this.
Madam Chairman,
Selectman Serino?
speaking on Carlos's
Thank you very much.
comments about traffic, I know I received a phone call from one of the neighbors about 6 months ago, and I did, Mr. Manager, send an email over to Josh. He's the environmental guy over at Tri-Mount. I gave him a list of 4 trucks, and it seemed like the trucking stopped. It's regular trucking. I don't think we can do anything unless we ban it, but the tractor-trailer trucking that you're seeing, I believe most of them are coming from aggregate and Swampscott. From their plant in Swampscott, they're bringing stone over or fill over to fill a quarry in, or bringing stone over to make asphalt. And I did send Josh an email regarding 4 heavy tractor-trailer trucks, and it seemed like the trucking stopped. Recently, they're back. I have 4 more companies on my list at home, and I'll give them to the manager, and maybe he can contact aggregate again. It seems like every time you call them, it'll stop, but 3 or 4 months later, they start back up again. It is the shortest route. I guess they don't want to deal with the traffic on Route 1, but we have to worry about our neighborhoods. The only other solution other than the tractor trailers is heavy trucking. Is if you want to ban it on Dudley Street, you have to supply them an alternate route. The state won't approve it, and the alternate route most likely would be Ballard Street. And I don't know how the residents on Ballard Street would feel about that. So it's kind of catch-22 we're in. But I will send the 4 vehicles, truck vehicles, the tractor-trailer trucks that I have on my list. I'll give them to the manager tomorrow, and I'll have him send an email to the environmental guy, Josh, up at Tri-Mount. Thank you.
Selectman Chicalini?
Through you, as a point to Selectman Serino as well, I've been in regular contact with one of the residents. She contacts me quite frequently, and
I bet you I know who that is.
What?
All of
I
us.
bet you I know who that is.
Yes, and and I understand the frustrations, and I actually reached out to the police chief. There was one specific truck. If we can identify, and I told her this, I spoke to her as recently as Monday, and I told her that if we can get the names of the trucks, we do have an agreement with Tri-Mount that they won't cut through those streets, and we have teeth with that because that's an agreement. It's not a police enforceable, it's an agreement with the town. It's not like the police can cite them for it because it's a written agreement. But that being said, I feel like Trimount or Aggregate has been very receptive, and in the past, they've actually stopped doing business with some of the trucking companies that would not adhere to that agreement. So the point being is that in order for us to really, banning it on the street is definitely not an option because we don't have another route to offer, as Selectman Serino said, and I explained this to one of the residents. But that being said, if we can identify that these trucks are directly from Aggregate, we will do everything in our power to, given the relationship we have with them, to make sure that they enforce their own agreement. Every one of the contracts they sign with those trucking companies specifically states they're not to cut through the streets in East Saugus. So if they break those agreements, they get warned the first time, second time they can breach a contract. So I strongly encourage, document the names of these trucks, get them to either any of the selectmen, and we're happy to be the liaison with Aggregate so that we can try to get the trucking as cut down as possible. They're definitely, from what this woman has told me, they seem like they're filled trucks with materials, and that's why they're so heavy, as you mentioned, between the J-brake and the weight of the trucks and when they're banging, et cetera. And obviously, we just paved a big section of that street, so ideally, we wouldn't have trucks weighing that much driving over it. So we definitely hear the concerns, but the teeth that we have is to enforce the agreement we have in place with Aggregate. So if we can prove that first, that's step one. And I did tell her that on Monday, that that's the next step, is documenting the trucks.
Madam Chairman?
Selectman Riley?
And just again, to touch base, we have been speaking with a resident down on Dudley Street. I had mentioned to her a few weeks back that maybe the police could put the sign, you know, that one that tells you how fast the speed limit you go down. That could be a solution. She didn't feel at the time that the speeding was the issue, but you're saying that it is. So if you could maybe, you know, get that down there for a month or whatever and see how fast they're going.
So we can do that, and also, it sounded like the other speaker talked about that the trucks may not be behaving correctly in the sense of, you know, doing other things with their brakes and whatnot while they're on the street, so we can have them try to observe some of that as well.
Thank you.
Okay, so it looks like some action steps, so thank you. The next item on the agenda is members' comments, and I'd like to start off, please, with Selectman Cogliano.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Madam Chairman, at a meeting back in, I believe it was April, I had asked for a report regarding 67 Main Street. A resident there, Lou Serio, was complaining that his neighbor is operating a transfer station out of their home. Mr. Manager, if you could look into that matter. I don't think you were here at the last time I brought it up.
I think we did look, I know that this has been pretty active for the last probably almost a year. Is this the one they remove a fence or something?
This is, yeah, they moved the fence. This is the old seminary on Main Street.
Okay, so I know we have had inspectional services and all them get on that. I think they've been going back and forth. I'll find out what's happening with it. I think that you're not the only one that we've gotten calls on it. So I think we were trying to do some enforcement there, and I think because there were two properties that were having issues.
Correct.
I think one of them was, and I think it's the one you're talking about, they have like some kind of fence that they remove and bring trucks in the back, park them, and then put the fence back, almost like a bat cave or whatever.
They have dumpsters in their backyard, too, that they bring debris from other jobs, put in the dumpsters and cart them away.
So I know they have been ongoing with them. I'll find out, and we'll try to make sure that they go down and get something else going regarding that as well. Take
Okay.
some pictures.
Thank you. And the other item I have, Madam Chairman, I received a call from Marlene Bakeri, and she is the wife of Anthony Bakeri and the daughter-in-law of Tony Bakeri from Bristow Street. And they would like to make a donation to put a bench at Bakeri Park in name of her husband and her father-in-law. I was just, actually, with Mike here, I know you have one on the rail trail, Mike. Maybe if we could get something like that and figure out how, because she wants to donate the bench to the town for when they come up to Saugus, they could stop there and see it. I know Ann Bicari is still there. So I think she's trying to make contact with people in town. I don't know if she had any success, but I figured I'd bring it up tonight because I know Mike had one. Maybe you could.
Yeah, we can look into it. I think obviously the problem becomes that if everybody wants to put a bench somewhere and they're different benches and they're all over the town, you know, it becomes challenging, I think, that part of it. But I think we can try to figure out, we can talk offline. I just don't know if because the park itself is named after a different Bucieri, right?
Family member, but they spell it different.
Okay, all right. So we can talk about it and figure something out.
Yeah,
Okay.
Just on the rail trail benches, I know a lot of people wanted to put benches on the rail trail too. The bench I have on there, I can give you the name of the company. I paid like $1,200 for that bench 10 years ago. But I can give you the name of the company. It's O'Brien and Sons from the South Shore who make them benches up there. They're like a plastic coating on them.
Yeah, it looks great.
They'll last forever.
So we can talk, I think, we just got to be careful that not everybody that ever lived in Saugus wants to put a bench up, and now what do we do? I mean, we had that problem at the Belmonte, they had benches all over the place, I don't even know where they ended up, but I think, you know, we can figure it out. You know, I think people that have some connection to different things, but we got to be careful what the policy is.
We've actually talked, Jeannie Meredith and I, about putting together maybe a bylaw with some standards of benches and how many benches and how far one bench needs to be from another bench, because we've gotten, I know how many calls you must have received. I've received many, many calls, and I'm sure the board members have as well, so we need to have some sort of standards put in place. So
Okay.
thank you for bringing that up.
Thank
But
you.
we can figure talk about the ones you're talking about.
All right, thank you, Mr. Manager.
No worries.
Appreciate it. That's all I have, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Selectman Cogliano. Selectman Riley?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just have one thing. I'd been getting a lot of inquiries regarding Saugus 411, that event that we hold to let new residents know, and ones that have been here, of what Saugus has to offer. We have for the 2 years in October, but because there are limited Saturdays with good weather and everyone has their church fairs or Little League or whatever's going on at that time, we don't want to take up a good weather Saturday for an indoor event. So the committee decided to move it to March, and that the invitations will be going out in January. So we will be having it, but we're just going to push it out so we don't take a good fall day for an indoor activity. So I just wanted to let the public know that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Selectman Riley. Selectman Sereno?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just wanted to mention Founder's Day again. It will be held on 1 week late this year. Usually it's held on the first Saturday in September, but this year it will be on the second Saturday on September 14th. And also, we have the free concert series at the Ironworks. That's every Wednesday, 6 to 8. It was a great time. I was there last week. And just to remind people, I believe it's early voting this Saturday at the library. I think voting hours are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., so get out there and vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Selectman Sereno. Selectman Ciccolini?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Mr. Manager, I just want to, if you could just pass along thank you to all the team over at the DPW. I know I've been calling quite a bit lately with things that need to be addressed, and I'm also getting calls thanking me because they seem to be all addressed pretty quickly and timely. So just tell the folks that they're doing a great job. We appreciate it. And also, I don't know if it's just the crew and you guys hit it right, but I think the summer crew that we have is fantastic. The work that's been done in keeping the town picked up and clean has been amazing. I see them out there at 7:30 in the morning with the trash pickers and picking up trash along the street and stuff, and the town it looks really good. It's noticeable.
So a couple of things, they're doing a great job. I hired more this year purposely, and I think they really have a good, solid group that have been return summer help. So I think that they know the routine, and we've really started targeting things that come in. So I think they've done an excellent job. So I'll pass that on, but we're really happy with what they've done.
And also,
to you. I appreciate the efforts being made and the communication enhancement to the public. I think we've all noted the significant progress that's been made between social media, now that you have a person in the role that's helping out with getting your messaging out. It's made a huge difference. A lot of people have noted it. Some people even noted it on social media, between the video updates on capital projects, keeping things out there like West Nile virus and things like that. That's clearly what the town has been craving. And the fact that it's being addressed, I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of all of us.
You're welcome, and I appreciate the support, like, trying to do that, obviously, to fund it, and it's nice that there's some positive stuff on social media.
Yeah, there's actually some good stuff, right?
Yeah.
For once in a while.
On occasion.
That's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
I did want to, Madam Chair, I wanted to do a shout out to Chris Riley, Corinne's husband. Where they cut some trees down on Weston Ave at the bottom of our hill, and I happened to be driving. They made a mess, but they did a good job of cutting the trees back. And I was actually going to say, I'm going to call on Monday to make sure that they get back and clean it up. It was a private company, and I saw your husband out there picking it up, and I appreciate that. So a shout out to him. So to let him know we said thank you.
Thank you.
And it looks like he painted the electrical, the phone company box as well.
Yeah, it was tagged, so
Yeah.
he just painted the same color.
That's artwork.
Is it? It's artwork.
It's not a mural, is it?
No.
And while we're speaking about things being tagged, I think if we could also reach out to the owners of the old Amato's Liquor. It has what I consider to be very derogatory graffiti on it, speaking about the police, and if they can deal with that accordingly, or just knock the building down, or whatever the plan is, I think it would be great, because the place is an eyesore as it is.
I will get on that. I know that there are plans in the works to do something there. They've been fielding some inquiries and
I know there was
plans.
a similar tag over at the 99 that you had.
Yeah.
You had reached out about.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't need that about the police and
Yeah.
stuff like that. We're
Hopefully,
lucky
there's
to have the folks
hopefully
that
at
we have.
Amato's they'll develop something there. I think that there are some inquiries, so that would be
But
good.
in the meantime,
yeah.
they can take a little pride in.
Yeah,
in
we
the
did
building.
have them bait it and all that because of the building's vacant. I've been down there with
Yeah, I saw
the
they
health
put the
department.
fence-
They
they
put
put
a
the fence
fence
up 'cause
I've
they were
been- yeah,
dumping.
Yep, and they would infiltrations of, there was all kinds of stuff in the
Well,
building left.
one of the neighbors also happens to be a retired police officer, so I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
look out my window
Yeah.
and see a derogatory tag about, about the police. So I just, tell them
We'll
to
take care of it, yep.
spruce it up a little
Yep.
bit.
Thank you.
Thank you, Selectman Chicalini. I want to send my sincere condolences out. Joe Pelzinski Jr. passed away on July 24th. I'm sure many of you remember him as a town meeting member in Saugus. So our sincere condolences go out to his family. Lenny Hart passed away on August 6th. Our sincere condolences go out to his wife, Julie, and his family. The Cars and Cops Show will be this Saturday, August 24th, starting at 9 o'clock at the Blessed Sacrament parking lot. We have a happy birthday citation to Laura Teglery on her 90th birthday, so happy birthday to Laura. I want to mention that at the last SBEC meeting, we had a long discussion about Student Government Day. The superintendent was there, the principal was there, they just need a teacher, and we'll work in collaboration with the schools and have a Student Government Day in probably April or May of 2025. I want to congratulate the newly elected Knights of Columbus officers who are being inducted tonight. Our next meeting is going to be held on Tuesday, September 3rd at 6 o'clock p.m. Just note the time, it's 6 and not 7. I want to wish the students and teachers a successful school year going into the 2024-2025 year. And lastly, I just want to mention that I attended the meeting that Mass DEP had along with the EPA and DCR. A town manager was there, Board of Health, other town officials, including Selectmen, Sereno, and residents yesterday to discuss where the new state-of-the-art air quality monitoring station was going to be placed in East Saugus. We were having some issues and discussions regarding those purple air quality monitors. This new monitor is going to measure the fine particulates and will provide real-time data. This is a permanent monitor that's going to be managed by the Mass DEP, and they will ensure continuous operation of that monitor. This is being paid for by the EPA grant that was awarded to Mass DEP, and they awarded it to Saugus. The reason why this is so important is because the fine particulate emissions are a concern because they penetrate deep into the lungs, where they may exacerbate conditions such as bronchitis and asthma, leading to possible premature death in already compromised individuals. And that's why this air quality monitor is so important to Saugus, and I'm really excited that we're going to be getting one in East Saugus.
Madam Chairman, just to make a comment about that, I want to thank the town manager. He was down on site
Absolutely.
after you had left, and telling DCR that whatever they need, that you would give them the support. I want to thank you for that.
You're welcome. Just one other thing, Madam Chair, before you guys close. I don't know if you were done, I'm sorry, but just to kind of cover the West Nile virus issue, I know we have stuff out on the website, press releases, as well as some video. But I did want to tell people, because we last, I think 2 weeks ago, we had almost 200 people that took advantage of going on the website for the Northeast Massachusetts Mosquito Control Board website. And you can also call, there's a number on the press release on the website, our website. But you can have them, if you put the request in by Wednesday at 12 p.m., they'll spray in the front of your house. So you put your address in, or you can call, put in the address as their preferred, online is their preferred method, but it helps at least to try to do some of the front of people's homes to spray for mosquito control, delta siding, or whatever they call it. So that I just want to make sure people are aware of that, because it seems like that caught on, and we had 2 weeks ago 200. I haven't got the numbers for this week. But I've taken advantage. I mean, I have a spray company anyway, but I've had them do it as well, and they've done it the last 2 weeks. So anything will help. I mean, we haven't got any more results from the sampling, but we did have 2 weeks in a row that, and one of them was a mammal biting. So again, please be careful. We did get moved up to a moderate risk community, which a lot of them did because they're positive. Tests are coming up, samples in other communities as well, in at least Essex County and Middlesex. So,
Thank you.
Anything else? Would somebody make a motion, please, to adjourn? So moved. And that's seconded by the chair. All those in favor of adjourning, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Good night,
Opposed?
everybody.
Motion carries 5-0. Good night,
Night,
everyone.
thank you.
We are
Good night.
adjourned.